Hello everybody, and welcome to the Lynn Life. Those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Jonathan, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynn, who has an anoxic brain injury as a result of cardiac arrest, over 11 years ago now. And this week I thought I'd talk about something that we're able to get quite easily, and some of you out there that are in the same situation cannot. We have aid service. I'm able to get aid service, home health aides, paid for by Medicaid. And I'm aware that some states make that very difficult to get. But this week I became aware that how many states make this very difficult and how lucky I am to have this. So I just wanted to kind of explain the service I'm getting and maybe shed some light on and what other states are doing as well. So let's get going.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynn, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are a bit different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynn Life.
The service plan that Lynn has falls in under the traumatic brain injury Medicaid Waiver. Now, she doesn't actually have a TBI, she has an anoxic brain injury, but it falls under the same umbrella. So, and we'll explain that a little bit in a second. But that's what I was able to, a plan that I was able to get Lynn involved in right away when she first came home. And this allowed me to go to work during the day, and allows me to do other things like go grocery shopping, or even things as simple as just making dinner without having to also care for Lynn at the same time. So it's definitely a lifesaver for me. But I'm aware that some of you in the same exact situation have not been able to get the same service under Medicaid. Some of you do something similar, but it's private pay, which can be very, very expensive. And others have just may do either with family members or doing all the work themselves, which is very difficult. Everybody needs a break. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the waiver program that's available in New York State first. Okay, so I've pulled this up on my computer, and it says, what is the traumatic brain injury Medicaid waiver? Well, the New York State Department of Health Traumatic Brain Injury Waiver Program provides services to persons with a TBI. The purpose of the program is to develop persons with a TBI to live in the community setting of their choice, and Medicaid funds the program. Okay, and as I explained earlier, Lynn does not have a TBI. She has an anoxic brain injury, but it also says right here under the to enroll in the TBI waiver, you must be a Medicaid recipient, choose to live in the community rather than a nursing facility, be between 18 and 64 years old at the time you apply. Lynn was 48 at the time when she applied. Now when she is older than 64, she will continue to get it. You just have to be under the age of 64 when you first apply. You have a primary diagnosis of TBI or similar non-degenerative condition that results in deficits similar to a TBI, such as a stroke or anoxia, oxygen supply loss, which is exactly what Lynn has. Okay, it says here that you must be assessed to need a nursing home level of care. So if you needed that, there should be no issue with getting disability. have an approved plan of available service that reflects the services you need in order for you to live safely in the community, and that is very important. So we go through an aid service, another outside company that provides all the services we need. In addition to home health aides, they also have an RN that comes by from time to time and takes care of that end of things and makes sure that Lynn's needs are being cared for. I also have a coordinator who's outside that company, and she's been our coordinator since the very beginning. And she advises me, she updates Lynn's plan. There's a folder downstairs that has her entire plan in it. And it's there for aides to look at should they need to look at, or if we have somebody filling in who's not familiar with Lynn's needs, they can look through that. And that gets updated every year. We can make changes to it. We can add hours, remove hours, whatever. So it's definitely a lifesaver for me, being able to have aides. And it is Lynn's choice. Lynn has choices here. Lynn has a choice as to who her aides will be or continue to be. Should there be an aide that Lynn dislikes, we can substitute a new aide, and that's happened in the past. Nothing against anybody. We've never had anybody who was really horrible, but personalities different, right? So it needs to be a good fit. So people coming here right now are all people that Lynn really likes, and she looks at them as friends, and they come in to assist her. So now I'm downstairs and I'm preparing a salad for Lynn and myself. I told the aide this morning that we had some leftovers last night that I wanted to use, and I was going to make a salad for Lynn and I. Generally, the aide would make lunch for her, and I make her breakfast every morning, and I make dinner at night. So that's generally how it goes. Let me get working on this salad. Oh, by the way, we grow our own lettuce even in winter, and we got some romaine lettuce growing, so this is fresh, just the way I like it. I was aware that some states do things differently and made things a bit more difficult to qualify for these programs. Most states, though, do have waiver programs, but it's up to the states to determine the qualification process. And in my research, one of the things I came up with right here is states with the best Medicaid benefit programs, and look who's number one: New York. New York, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Minnesota are the top four as of right now. So it's a shame. It's a real shame. I mean, everybody should be able to get this kind of service. I don't know what I would do without it. It's heartbreaking for me to see people, on these Facebook sites that are really getting burned out for, caregiving for their loved one. You need a break. You need a break from it. I'm able to give myself breaks, and it's necessary. So it's a real shame. And what I have to say to those that are having difficulty is, don't give up. Contact your representatives on the state level, state and state senators. I contacted a state senator when I first got approved. So just to kind of speed the process up, and they will work for you. That's their job. They're supposed to work for you. So don't give up. Keep at it. Now I'm outside in the snow to drive home a point as well. It snowed last night, and we had a little snow and ice, and not fun. But the reason I'm out here is I wanted to tell you that years ago, when I was planning my retirement, I was considering moving south after I retired. And that was before I realized the differences in the TBI waiver program from state to state. And upon research, I realized that I would lose the services I have now if I moved out and other states didn't offer them the same way. So I changed my plans. And here I am in the snow. So, but that's okay, as long as we have the services, and we're fine. We just dress a little warm. Well, back inside where it's warm again. Speaking of things that don't always work out the way you planned, it's at this point in this video, I was going to have Lynn on camera. And I was going to sit on the couch with her, and I was going to talk to her about having her home health aides coming each day, and just care in general. But Lynn wasn't into it. She said no. And that's the way it is. So that may change later, but no, she said no, and she's too tired. She's not sleeping though. She's down watching television. So that's okay. It's okay. You got to be flexible, and I've always said that Lynn has a say. She always has a say in everything. And when it comes to what are we having for dinner, or what she gets to do from day to day, it's up to her. You can't, she's not going to be forced. I remember, there are other services that are available as well, and one of them was adult daycare. And when this first happened, I thought that would be a good thing. I thought she'd get out, maybe they do some crafts or some activities. They had a pool there. I said, that would be wonderful. Good thing for her to do during the day. So we started that, and a bus would come and pick her up, and off she'd go. And she did that, I don't know how many weeks she did it. Couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, whatever. And one day she talked to me, wanted to talk to me about it. And she asked me, says, how come you're putting me in a place where everybody's old or disturbed? I said, well, you don't like going there? She goes, no, I don't like going there at all. I'd rather be home. I thought, okay. So I called our coordinator, and we changed it. And Lynn didn't go back. So that's it. It's her choice. She has choices. Now, there were other services that we had as well. There was some counseling. There was some other, like, independent living skills training that's available as well. We did that for a while. So there's a variety of different services. They also contributed towards making our downstairs bathroom handicap accessible. And they want to make your home accessible, and there's funds for that, and they will contribute some funds towards that as well. So that's all good. Now, some things like Lynn's horseback riding, that's private pay. I pay for that. So, but it's definitely a service that I depend on, and my tax dollars have gone to it. So I believe that all states should be able to provide this type of service, and if your state isn't, like I mentioned earlier, don't give up. Don't give up. Call your representative and or email him or her and see what you can get started. Maybe you can get a group of you from your state to kind of get together and be heard, because it can be changed. They may not offer it right now, but it doesn't mean they won't. And if you just sit idle and you don't say anything, it's going to stay that way. So I think that's about it. That's all I have to say. If you have something to say, put it in the comments, please. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time on The Lynn Life.